Hi everyone. Yes, welcome to Rise and Rank Christmas edition. I think our second Christmas edition or third one. I really stopped counting. First of all, Emma, thanks for all the decoration. Thanks for all the preparation for this month's Rise and Rank. It's good to see some old faces, some new faces around here. I see we got it cozy today, which is also the motto of the Christmas time. Maybe something for all of you. We're doing a Christmas advance calendar on LinkedIn, so every day there's something to win. Maybe you can also ask the question in the round. I don't know today's prize, but we're always sending out a prize. The best thing would be to just hand it to somebody because we save sending it. The last prize was sent to UK, right? Yes. So we could have thought about limiting it to a geographical area. Like, let's see who wins next. Anyway, we're here today I'm again the speaker today, which is a bit unfortunate because I'm always happy to get external speakers. Next month we have an external speaker again. We'll announce it in our newsletter, and always obviously open for more external speakers here, so you don't get bored with me talking all the time. And Ozan is too busy doing other stuff. So okay, let's jump into it. Today the topic is an integrated SEO and AI strategy for 2026. Why am I picking that up? Because it's probably as an agency, but also in-house, the topic of October, November, December, planning the next year, budgeting, thinking about what to do, convincing your superiors of that's the right thing to do, getting the budget for the things that you want to do. So you always need to think like, what are the strategies to put on this roadmap? Let me just start with our presentation. So a while ago, you might have just entered your board on a Thursday morning in Berlin, and you asked like what to do on a Thursday morning in Berlin. Not a long time ago, you would have ended maybe on our SEO and AI breakfast, Rise and Rank. And I see some old school people are here, but that's what's happening nowadays. You get an AI overview. You might not even land on our AI breakfast, but land somewhere. I think Mark Talenoin was the first recommendation. So you might be sitting in Kreuzberg taking breakfast over here, then over there, then here. So why am I showing this? I think we're all aware that the whole search landscape, but also the whole online marketing landscape, has significantly changed over the last this year, especially over the last 2-3 years, where this trend started. And I just brought a couple of numbers. There's a billion of different stories, different numbers coming out. So I'm just picking three. I missed the sources. I can send them. I can send them afterwards. But like you get a new study next week that will have some significantly different numbers. So what we see is that over 70% of the users have already used AI search tools. It's probably getting more and more with Google pushing the AI mode. What we see pretty much everywhere, especially in the informational field, is the drop of click-through rate that you might get. Like they also changed this parameter thing, so it's extremely difficult to have reliable numbers. But we've seen that the click-through rate, especially on informational queries, dropped a lot. What is expected is that the traditional search volume going on typical Google searches might decline by up to 25% in the next year. So also search volume is spreading out a bit differently. People are asking follow-up questions in AI instead of asking new questions, which obviously then means that affects search volume. The goal, what we have, is no longer to just rank and drive drive traffic, the new goal is to become the answer that AI is picking. People are still buying, people are still doing this the same thing. The journey is just different, especially in the informational area. You don't go to blogs anymore to get like a basic information that you could have gotten with an AI overview. You will just see the information in the AI overview and then potentially take the next step within AI. So you research something, you might learn that you need a certain product, and you will ask the or certain service, and you will ask the follow-up questions within in AI. So in our opinion, it's extremely important to be present in these answers. How the field develops, I think that's pretty much everybody doesn't know how this develops in the next couple of years. But I think one is clear, that this part is extremely important also as an underlying technology for everything else. But what we shouldn't forget, Google has still 10x more active users than ChatGPT. Probably currently the shift is still even more towards Google, which still means ChatGPT is significantly large, because like having the tenth of users of Google is already extremely significant. But that also tells us SEO isn't dead. You should not just say we're all going ChatGPT and forgetting about Google, especially the way Google works when using AI is very related to what's happening in SEO in the background. Still, searches are being performed. The signals for Google are that that they're more using the traditional search results as a basis than ChatGPT. In ChatGPT, when we analyze, we'll see way more exotic pages that I would have never expected to rank. What you, for example, notice that ChatGPT is doing, you ask a German query, and it's doing something like, "What are the best business banks in Germany?" In English. That means suddenly some random English pages are being pulled in that are writing about German business banks that you never heard about. And you see like also all of these sites popping up. Like people, it's a bit the pre-Penguin SEO pre-Penguin SEO era. People know how to, or find out how to cheat the system, and they're already actively doing that. So you see a bunch of these sites not made for Google but made for ChatGPT showing up. So what I want to say is that we should not, and I see that with some clients. I had a pitch with the other client this week, and the intro was about, hey, they want to do SEO, they're interested in AI, so I gave them like a general recommendation overview of their site, and they're like, hey, we're not interested anymore in SEO. We just want to do geo. Nothing like SEO is completely unimportant, irrelevant for us. I was like, okay, like this might also maybe not be the right way to jump on that ship and forget about everything else. So what we are actually recommending is an integrated strategy that does both, that puts weight on the geo and AI topic, but doesn't forget about the basics and foundations, and tries to do things that benefit both. And I think that's not that hard to find a way that benefits SEO and geo. There's stuff that's more difficult to combine. Danke, Selina. So what I put together today is the four pillars for strategic recommendations when it comes to SEO and Leo. The first one is foundational authority and trust. Getting your entities and domains up there as trusted and relevant. Then content optimization obviously is still relevant, but there's a couple of tweaks that you can make to make the content to be cited easier by AI. I'm going to go in the details as well. Then the topic of off page. I mean, that was always something that we kind of see that there was a need for changing in the last years when coming from the, I would say, traditional link building, and also the traditional link building that's happening in Germany. We just know there's like 6,000, 7,000 sites that are even open to publish your content with a link. So it's like Everybody's getting links from the same sites. We see in the last years that there's a decline of the effectiveness of these links, and we already learned by these Google algorithm leaks that mentions are actually really, really important, and no follow links also hold some value. And what we see, anyway, I'm not going too much in detail now. I'm going to into detail later. And the fourth one is actually we have some kind of challenging situation at the moment. But we also have a lot of power in our hands, like the whole topic of automation, of scaling. That's possible, like it was never before. So, like, we recommend to really make use of that instead of working with your old tactic, because smaller players that are utilizing that are just going to pass you left and right. Let's maybe talk about the topic of authority and trust. I mean, it's always this nice EEAT that SEOs are dragging through the dirt since a couple of years, but the core concept I think is still viable. I think it's not just being done by putting nice author pics on your blog posts. It's more of building this whole entity recognition, having everything that makes you trusted on your side, having the right schema org that you can be properly associated, and most importantly, building topical authority. We've seen that in the last 15 years in SEO, that Google really associates you with certain keyword clusters. You will all notice that for some keywords you were ranking very easily, and for other stuff it's really difficult because Google just doesn't associate you with these things, even if you want to sell it, and you need to spend a lot of time to build this authority. It's not just an on-page thing, so it's also an off-page thing, that all of the content that LLMs see about you, that they use for training, are associated with certain terms, with certain entities. That whenever a user asks a question about your brand, that this will preferably show up. The next topic is the content optimization. I think what we can do as a follow up, we're just creating an infographic on how to optimize your landing page, your content for Geo and AI. Maybe we can send that or post that afterwards. But what's important? There's a couple of new optimization strategies, or strategies that have been used in the past, but that we see are incredibly well working in Geo. One thing that we've noticed is the whole question and answer format. Like, if you have your content, you can have, like, typically the advantages of X, or what is the advantage of X on your website. If you use that question answer format, it's something that gets you cited way more often. Also, if you break your page down into certain chunks and components, usually the AI will not drag in your whole content. It will use certain chunks, will use those as citations, and then use something from another page. So these are like just a couple of examples of what you can do in terms of content optimization. Also, freshness is important, that your content is regularly updated. The AI likes to cite content that's fresh and that's not 3 years old, because that's also, first of all, a risk for the AI. And also, we all know that this problem has been solved quite well. That the AI in the beginning, ChatGPT was always telling you, my knowledge cutoff is September 2021, and you were not getting any older information. Then they started citing sources, and now people don't even notice that anymore, because they're always getting sources. But this is why they're also tending to more recent sources. So that's one thing that we recommend to most clients, not all, is refreshing the content that they have, because this is also not the same work as it was previously. Previously, you were having somebody that goes in an article, goes to Google, understands what do they need to optimize, and all of these processes can be completely automated. Today. up to the complete content being rewritten and optimized on your site. It's always then a question on how much human review do you want to have in these processes, where you want to go have these things on autopilot. Then the off-page topic, it's strongly moving from just backlinks. I wouldn't say that backlinks are irrelevant; they still are highly relevant. But what's more becoming more and more important is what other pages are saying about you. If, let's say, you're selling a software, that's, I think, the prime example. And people always do research. What's the best software for X? And if 10, 20, 20 articles in the web are saying you're the number one, you're the best, and that's what AI would probably say is the best, because they try to get reliable data that they will use inside to make up their decisions. The other thing is communities. What we've seen as a couple of the most cited sources are Reddit, Quora, sometimes, but also YouTube. Like if you have a social presence on these strong sites, if you post a lot of content, the chances that AI is going to pull in these sources will highly increase. And the third topic is the topic of digital PR. That because this is what we see builds that brand foundation, where you say you're cited on highly relevant pages, ideally always with brand and what you do next to each other. Like, for example, the company A that does that made this study, for example. That helps for AI to build these entity relations. And the fourth topic is using automation and scale. Using AI as a co-pilot, not on autopilot. Something important to say, because you only get proper results or usable results if you put in some brain power in the processes. If you put in some brain power, how are you going to instruct and feed the AI? But if you're doing that right, you can make a lot of effect. Programmatic content repurposing, having a blog post that you will directly transform into a Facebook post, a LinkedIn post, something for your newsletter. All of this stuff is so easy, even when it comes to visuals. Like, and it's always improving. I think that's also something that we shouldn't forget where we stand now. Like, I talked to Ozan about, like, the whole topics of how to make presentations and stuff with AI to help there. In a year, we will not be having that conversation. Right now, we have to have a couple of hacks from here to there, and it's all not 100% polished. But in a year, we will not. I promise you, next year in December, I can. Everybody knows how to do full presentations with AI, and it's tough to spot what's made by a human and what not. Just as an example, my evening yesterday, while I was finalizing this presentation, I was uh, I was doing 470 millions of Opus 4.5 tokens with 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 Anthropic. So I sent a bit of cash in their way to translate that for people that are not as firm with tokens. That's roughly 450,000 pages of Word text that I was sending back and forth. 450,000 Word pages, that would be roughly. So and that was just in one day. So you can do a lot. You need some people. You need some people to do this scale. So yeah, let's move on. One, I think, extremely important thing, and this is where everybody's struggling with, because people feel that this is moving towards AI, and AI is the thing to look at. Geo is the thing to look at, but they're still here when it comes to their KPIs. And I don't think it's wrong to strongly still look at these, I would say, harder KPIs. For example, traffic, visibility, sales. that should probably still be your core KPI. But we've seen that the visibility that you see in SEO tools roughly translates at all to any traffic that you're getting. It's an indicator, but that's that. Sometimes you rank on position one, and you look at that page and you see, yeah, it's clear why position one even doesn't get any clicks. You get product listings, AI overviews, another product listing. People also ask, and yeah, here's some organic number one position. So it's not like this organic number one position. Ad blockers are also declining through some stuff that Chrome did. So all of that, this adds up that your number one position is not you're getting shitloads of traffic anymore. So that means we need to also shift to more KPIs. We need to understand them better and the impact better, because this is new to everyone. Is right now being present in these answers. Like a lot of direct answers don't lead to direct clicks. That's something that's going to be a big issue, because then the funnel could be completely different and extremely hard for you to track, because it could be you get an answer, you get the domain, and you might not even click from the chatbot. You might just save it for yourself and come back the next day once you made your decision, or type it in, or then go to Google and maybe click the ads. But you cannot follow this customer journey anymore. So what we're looking at things is like AI visibility, meaning how often are you present in the answer. The citation frequency, how often is your website quoted? I think it's even more important to be mentioned, because that's stuff that people see. Just being quoted depends on also which position. If there's a chance that you get a click. And then obviously you can look at things like share of voice. You can look at things like brand sentiment in the AI. How does the AI talk about you? Are you being recommended? You can go a step further and say, hey, what is AI specifically saying about your brands? How is it portrayed versus competitors? I think this field will be evolving, especially with more features also being implemented in the AI. Potentially, we will have some kind of search console for ChatGPT, some kind of different tracking from Google in Search Console. We don't know. I don't know how much that is. It's even in the interest of the AI tools to show you that, or to just leave it somewhere in the mystical field. But in any case, we need to convince people to look at new KPIs, because otherwise these KPIs will be going down. And if you say that's the one I only want to be tracked on these, you might have a hard time convincing your bosses for the 2027 budget, because obviously SEO traffic just by natural development will not grow significantly. Most likely, there's different areas. Obviously, e-commerce is a bit better than the topic of everything that relied on informational. But I believe through the was das durch die Bank weg? It's like through the bench is obviously probably pretty wrong. Like overall, I think we'll be seeing a decline in overall organic clicks. Obviously, we brought something for you to track that. I need to do some advertising, like if somebody needs to pay for all the breakfast. So we have a new tool, BuzzView AI, that will enable you to track all of these KPIs, to analyze all of these KPIs. So our focus is even more on analysis than just on tracking. You can optimize content. You can do outreach with the tool. I advise you to check it out. If you want any bonus codes, give me a message. I'll hook you up. Yeah, and since I wanted, like, I have a bunch of 50 more slides that I could show you, but I would just say, hey, let's rock 2026 in the AI search era, and let's discuss and eat some breakfast.
Can I add a little announcement too?
Yeah, sure.
Just want to email after this where we attach the presentation and we upload the video to you. So if anyone's not on that email list but would like to receive the email, just let us know and then we can add you.
Any questions?
But yeah, I see a lot of web pages who have a lot of this new content,
Yeah.
like to doc for,
Yeah.
for the category plant
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
They have such a long
Yeah.
text with which is AI
Yeah.
generated.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Google how they will handle it, because it's also, from my opinion, it's also spam. If the website owner or something put in every category or such a long text, and sim hash technology, you can see if it's AI generated.
Yeah.
Wonder what will happen with.
I don't know. I mean, it's
Text was written by, I don't know, 50 times.
Yeah. I mean, so far we see positive impact of having content, optimized content versus, in their case, not having content. But we don't know how it's going to evolve. Like I'm also very transparent with telling that to the clients. Hey, this is something we don't know where this is heading. There's a chance that Google will look out for these things. In my opinion, I feel that they just don't care about these stuff anymore currently. They don't care about so much about, like, when you heard about Google penalizing something actively. I think they're so focused on getting their AI systems to work that they just don't give a shit about this stuff currently. And also it's a bit of what's in the agenda. On the other hand, they're positioning themselves as a very strong B2B B2B AI provider. Why should they, like? And they're also telling this workflow builder tool that Google made. I forgot the name. This is what they also said. Hey, you can scale blog post content with AI, so it's in their own communication. And somehow it would be difficult communicatively if they say, hey, content produced by Gemini gets someone downgraded, or somebody does a study and say, well, here's normal content, here's Gemini content, and the Gemini content significantly performs worse. That would not be very good PR for Google. So I think they'll have some other factors, which is again more external validation topics to see what results they drag in. But like this is just my glass my how you say, magic. My prophecy, but I don't know. Like it could be absolute. I could be absolutely wrong. So we don't know where this is going. What we see in the.
We have it's about being a brand. It's about being an authority. It's about citations and the on-page part. So if you only do, this is what I do in this. If you do only this kind of content on your page, you're not authority, you're not brand. This is not going to perform. So I have a use case, a really small client from the Nordic. It's a car seller, selling used cars. These guys are quite huge in their area. It's a really tiny, small website, but they are a brand since more than 30 years in this region where they're, so they're kind of local. And we've created for them a lot of AI generated blog content. And it's performing like crazy. They do perform for something like gebrauchte Mercedes, gebraucht VW for very generic terms, Reifenwechsel, Winterreifen, Zündkerzen, Werkstatt, blah, 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 and these kind of topics. Mm-hmm. And they outrank really big companies and e-commerce. It's more about being a brand authority, how long are you in the market. So there are more KPIs than just on page, and there is a written text with 500 words and keyword density. It's not just about the AI content, and this might be spam or.
It's something I wonder. Like nowadays, if I use one of those AIs,
Yeah.
they can obviously not read our lovely formatted JavaScript, whatever content, but they need the blank markdown.
Yeah.
So what I've seen is that people render in their content sites LLM.txt, so basically the entire block down to a markdown, and someone else I saw who turned their block into a effectively page embedded MCP.
Yeah.
So the MCP hosted somewhere in Cloudflare, and it was sort of embedded. And I wonder if you had any measurement on these sorts of things, if that is actually working. I know that Anthropic does, if you ask an Anthropic thing, okay, now look into your proper documentation.
Yeah.
It will fetch an LLM TXT and then use it.
Yeah.
But I wonder how much that would.
You mean specifically an LLM TXT, or having or basically serving the LLM different content than
Well, both things, making two questions.
Yeah.
Effectively, one, obviously the LLM TXT.
Yeah, I mean the LLM TXT sometimes that's being used, but we don't see any overall signals that this is so useful right now. I mean, it also doesn't hurt, so why not have an AI create your LLM TXT by you telling it, hey, these are my most important pages. Explain what this page is about. Go like feeding it something structured. It takes you literally like 3 minutes, and your IT guy, if they're not overcomplicating things, it's uploading a TXT file to the root of your server. So like we recommend it to clients with that suggestion, like, hey, this probably will not move the needle currently, but it also doesn't hurt, and potentially it helps here and there. And I've seen many use cases, and I've seen many sites that actually do this kind of cloaking, where they feed LLMs different content than users. And it's Wild West again. Like, this stuff is working, like, because LLMs are just stupid, and they for now they will drag it. Like, obviously they have a bunch of security layers to prevent this kind of stuff.
Like the SEO stuff 25 years ago, so it's like Wild West. Everybody is doing something, and then there's an update, then the SEO, maybe Black Hat scene is coming with new topics, then it's again.
It's fun. It's fun again. It's more fun.
Yeah, it's fun again. Just like it's what's happening right now. The same for the LLM TXT. Maybe it doesn't have impact right now, but we don't know what's happening in 6 months. So doing this kind of stuff, there's a good impact. Maybe not today, but maybe in a year.
I mean, you always need, like, that a bit relates. You always need to have a certain level of risk management. But that was always an SEO topic. And obviously the risk of putting an LLM .txt is zero. The risk of publishing 200,000 AI generated contents could be quite high. So you need to, but also the benefits would be way higher of publishing 200,000 contents on your website. So you need to know, like,
found out on the TXT. When was it? Yesterday, someone found out that Google implemented the TXT on one of their documentation pages.
on Search Console, I think, right?
Exactly. Not for a few hours, it was gone, returning a 404. So I mean, like, it's again the Wild West.
It is.
So you mentioned before that the first step would be to adapt the content for the AI search. So do you think then they will prioritize the AI search content made with the same LLM model? Kind of, if I use Perplexity to, obviously everybody's using something, for update their content. Do you think there will be a point where, they're gonna...
I mean, they pretty much can probably tell, if they want, what is AI generated, but it's also, again, which technical checks are being made, because that also is costly and time. Like, every computing step adds a delay. every computing step adds some kind of cost. So the question is, with all of these companies currently competing for who's the best, the fastest, the coolest, like, do they currently care about this stuff? They might care in the future, I believe, but I think currently it's just not something. For social, this is more relevant. For example, for social media platform, in my opinion, it's more relevant to understand what is AI generated content and maybe downgrade that or label that as AI generated content, because it will significantly have an impact on the usability and the perception of the website. The AI that's just taking content and rewriting it, they will more look for like, hey, what's probably a trusted source I can pull information from, and what's a source that I just use whenever there's no better content to be found. But I don't know. Like this, like,
Yeah.
obviously the stuff is watermarked, and they could tell, but my gut feeling is that currently they just have a lot of different other business priorities than that.
Any other questions?
Yeah, going more down the route of identification in that case. So if we do cloaking, so what we do see is, I mean, obviously since it's Wild West,
Yeah.
we know that the LLM agents don't mark themselves.
Yeah.
They act purposely as a normal user. And with large platforms, you see all those defense mechanisms,
Yeah.
which may either require JavaScript or just try to burn resources on the client machine.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if you've seen any impact of that. For example, if you now go for Cloud Code and the likes,
Yeah.
you effectively will see certain blocks
Mm-hmm.
and certain non-AI tools that effectively will not work anymore because they now run into all those defense mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously, you mentioned cloaking. Like, how would you say, like, okay, this is what an LLM sees? Like, basically, okay, they can fetch it without JavaScript,
Yeah.
and we put it in the defense mechanism, and here's the real content.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see in that field?
What, the question was so long, I don't know. Yes, yes.
To actually do the identification, is this an LLM or not?
To my experience, and I haven't gone down the road of trying to do cloaking for LLMs. I just see what's happening out there. Just I would love to have the time to say I'm just doing I'm doing a case and a project, but there's like millions of other projects and cases in my hands right now. So I miss the practical experience. From what I understand, it's only a rare case that that AIs don't identify themselves. So this in the long run is also going to be an issue for them if they don't do that. There's certainly things like when you mentioned Cloud Code, it's running locally, it's doing a fetch from your terminal. That's obviously different behavior than when you use Claude on the web and it will open a website. But I'm not sure about that. My understanding is that if you do that, they identify themselves correctly. And there's also another, like, what I think is a bit intransparent is how they do their training. Like, there's also two topics: training data gathering and basically retrieval once somebody searches. My understanding is if you do retrieval with the web app, it will identify themselves properly. The training data topic is completely intransparent, like which bots they use, what scraping, what data patterns, and they don't. What I've seen is that sometimes they even if they don't say it, they use stuff that you used by the API. I've seen stuff on Anthropic with client projects that we also run over a year ago, and that you type something and you see the text in. That's exactly the pattern that we've trained it to do with our client text, and like the input, there was a mistake in the input, so it obviously couldn't have that information. But you see that they've been using that as training data, and so like I advise to really be careful what kind of information you put in an LLM, and don't trust them when they say they don't use stuff for for training data, or you forget somewhere to tick off some button somewhere. Okay, guys, then happy breakfast. Thanks for coming. The next session is about prompting or creating prompts to monitor for AI with an external speaker coming in. So I'm really curious about that topic. It will be, Emma, you already know the date? Is it?
First Thursday.
It's not the first of the year. It's not the first. It's the 8th of January, not the first one, because I hope you're enjoying that day at home with a hangover with your families, or with a hangover with your families. Thanks.